Hello everyone! Finally, I've decided to make a video about scams. We walked down from our house. There are some works going on, it's a bit noisy. We came down to this beautiful fire pit by the creek to talk about such an unpleasant topic. I've prepared 5 cases that I've encountered over my 5 years where I could have really lost money. But thank God I was saved from this. I hope this helps you as a builder to avoid falling for such cases and not lose your money. As developers who buy land, build houses and sell houses, we're always on the lookout for great land. And so I found some great. The price was market value, it wasn't significantly undervalued, but I really liked the lot. It was almost flat, well-shaped, and the price for this lot was around $170,000. Similar lots sold for $180,000, $200K. Price was market value I could offer. I checked the boss lot, researched, and made an offer. We signed, and thanks to my realtor, the contract went to the title company, an important point. I went, checked out the lot, researched it, figured out that something could be built here, and immediately made an offer. And we signed the contract. The contract, thanks to my realtor, went to title company. And this is a very important point. All contracts need to be done through a title company. The company checks the buyer, the seller, and all parties involved in this process. She prepares the documents correctly, she handles the entire deal properly, and she processes the money, which is very important through. Of course, when buying this land, we had to provide the necessary earnest money and the initial option fee as part of the overall purchasing process. I did that right away in the first 3 days, as required by law, and I took the check with the earnest money and option fee to the title company. After that, the inspection process began. A week later, the title company informs us they verified the seller of the land and the land is not theirs. The owner is listed in the registry. They took the address of the actual owner of the land and sent him a physical letter to his address, and after that they received a response that he wasn't planning to sell this land, he wasn't going to do anything with it. And he provided them with documents that he was the sole owner of the land when they compared the contract. Name the seller in the contract and the owner of the earth. They were completely different people. It turned out to be a scam. What were these criminals counting on? I don't understand. But for me, the important takeaway is when you find land or when you buy or sell a house, make sure to use a title company. This will be your protection. They will check the entire case and they will process the whole case through their account. Of course, we got the money back because it was a scam. And the title company, as a guarantor of the deal, returned the money back. And I got my earnest money and option fee back. The next story is about our buyers. I still don't understand where the scam was and where the benefit was for these buyers. But I'll tell you the story right now. We were selling a house worth $3 million that we had built not long ago. Buyers from another state came to us with a realtor to view the house. I met these people. We got to know each other. We had a great conversation. I showed them the house, all its advantages. They shared their story about how they were moving from another state, that they had cash, and they wanted to buy this house. He really liked it, and the next day we signed a contract with them. After that, once the contract is signed, the buyer must bring the earnest money and option fee within a certain period. Move in on the 30th, finalize deal, pay earnest money and option fee within 3 days of signing. Before that, we need to finalize the deal within a certain period. Within 3 days after signing the contract, we have to get a check with the earnest money and option fee to the title company. The day comes when they are supposed to pay the earnest money and option fee. People aren't showing up. They're not bringing the check. So we start reaching out to them, asking what's going on. why they're not bringing the check. They say, we sent the money via bank transfer. They should receive it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and the money doesn't arrive. They say there was a mistake made with the account number. Wait, yes, until tomorrow. We're waiting again until tomorrow, and the money still doesn't come in. We say, okay, if you're having issues with the transfer, just bring us a paper check directly to the title company, and this contract will go into effect, because the contract is signed. But without the down payment, without earnest money, it doesn't work. A week went by, and every day, these people promised to bring the money to the title company. There was even a funny case when they called and said they were bringing a physical check, but got stuck in traffic. They were supposed to arrive by 6 p.m., but the title company closes at 5 p.m. We asked the agent at the title company to wait so he could accept their check. And on the way to the title company, they call and say they got into an accident. How was it perceived from our side? Of course, we waited through all possible time periods. And then there were 7 additional days, and we re-signed the contract for the extension. Then there were 7 additional days. They never brought the money, neither option fee nor earnest money. And we terminated that contract and went back to the market. Earnest money, and we terminated that contract and went back to the market again. In the end, losses. A loss of 2 weeks of time, a loss of potential clients, a loss of strength, energy, and mood. To be honest, it's just a small loss of money because we had a list where we wrote down that until the deal. Of the deal. We need to take certain actions regarding the house. I did it. This list is 100%. Yeah, I spent a little money, but I did everything they asked for. We terminated the contract and never saw them again. I still don't really fully understand the reason for this scam at all. My conclusion, never do anything until you sign a deal, even if you have a punch list. For the work on the house that the buyer asks you to do, start doing it only when the money has hit your account. Don't do it beforehand, earlier. Within the team, we tried to understand the reason for this scam, what was happening. Of course, you can't really steal a house because you're still doing the deal through a title company. Maybe it's about getting information, maybe some other way to gain a small advantage, but I still didn't understand what happened. Maybe it is getting data, maybe some other way to get some small benefit. Write in the comments. Maybe you have some ideas about what happened with this case. Why did people enter into a contract and not fulfill their obligations? We spent 2 weeks of time, so many promises, so many meetings, but in the end, the deal didn't happen and they disappeared. What happened to me, you might wonder? In this particular case, I received a call on my phone unexpectedly. And on the phone, I hear the voice of a pleasant girl who says, "We are the service company, such and such, and we provided you with services, and I would like to receive payment for these services. Give me your credit card number. If you ordered recently, you might not check details. You might give her your card number, and that card will go into the system and they'll take money from you, and then they'll start withdrawing small amounts of money later on. Somehow, ask her. Something you will immediately dictate a card, and this card will go through the camera system. They will write off money from you, and perhaps then they will write off money in small amounts. How did they know we were making server? Maybe it was a completely random call. You know, I don't know, but honestly, I didn't dictate the card. I started asking her a few more questions, after which she just hung up. I think this scam works, so I'm not really sure, but these are my personal assumptions. They have access to some kind of registration document because all service companies register their services. Yes, so they have registration numbers. And when you make a deal, you receive services from the seller, or when you sell a house, there is a number for that service. Yes, they have registration numbers. And when you make a deal, you get the servos from the seller, or when you sell a house, there's a number for that servo. They probably somehow or another got that number and found out that we ordered this service and tried to take advantage of that opportunity. In some way or another, in order to gain access to the card itself. And when they gain access to the card, they potentially gain access to the money. And in America, It is very common to dictate your card number over the phone. In fact, I absolutely do not recommend you to give out your card numbers over the phone, even if you know these people. There are plenty of ways to make a payment differently. Friday midday, the weekend is ahead. I get a call. I pick up the phone, and on the line, I hear a voice that sounds kind of off. An engineer from Pedernales Electric Company, who says to me, greeting me with a friendly, "Hello, a representative of the Pedernales Electric team, and we're on our way to you. We've received an order to disconnect the electricity at your home, at the property you are building. Of course, I understand that if they arrive within an hour. By the way, he said they would be at my property within an hour. I will disconnect the electricity. I have an order for that. I understand that if they disconnect the electricity within an hour, my work will come to a halt. We won't be able to build the house, or we'll have to use a generator. It's important to remember that it's Friday. I start to ask him, why are you disconnecting us? And he replies, you haven't made the payment for last month, and an order has come in to disconnect your electricity. I say, I can make the payment instantly, right now, if the payment didn't go through. Moreover, we recently changed our credit card because of another scam. I know that they most likely really didn't receive the payment. Maybe they even somehow knew that we had changed our credit card. I tell him I'm absolutely ready to pay this particular payment. Just don't disconnect us, because the weekend is coming up. How can I keep working without electricity? We usually work on Saturdays. He says, I'm not the one to solve this issue. It was, of course, very nice of him. He says, I have my supervisor, you can call him, and gives me the supervisor's phone number. Of course, I call the supervisor in a panic, asking what's happening with my electricity, whether they're going to disconnect it, and the supervisor, he tells me, yes, indeed, the payment hasn't gone through in the system. And even if you enter your new card into the system now and pay, then I will not see this payment. And we will have to disconnect you, and on Monday, when we see your payment, we'll come back and turn it on. And this was the key moment when a shift happened in my mind, and I realized that this was a scam. He tells me, I can make the payment for you right now and lift this disconnection order. Give me your credit card number. At that moment, I realized that this is a scam. And of course, I say thank you, goodbye, and hang up. What do I do next? Two things. First, I asked my assistant to log into our Pedernales Electric account and check if we had any outstanding balance. She checked and we didn't have any debt. The second thing I did was call Pedernales Electric myself, using the official phone number listed on all Pedernales Electric websites. And I asked the operator to check if we had any debt. And if she has a turn-off order, what did she tell me? Guys, we never disconnect anyone, neither a home nor a business, nobody, without a written physical notice. And we give you time to make your payment. So it was a professional, beautiful scam that I almost fell for. You receive a text message saying that your address is incorrect, and that's why the delivery couldn't be completed. In my case, I was waiting for the delivery of materials from Ukraine. These were components for furniture. It was a small box, and we were really looking forward to it because the furniture was almost assembled. We were missing a few elements, a few components. I'm waiting for these materials, and I get a text message from USPS. I press on the link in that text message. I go to a website that looks very similar to USPS. And it says that your address is incorrectly formatted. To change the address, you need to pay $7. It's not that much money to receive your delivery from Ukraine, that we've been eagerly waiting for with the components. I click on that link and it asks me to enter my card details. And when you enter your card details, naturally they charge you money. I went to USPS and showed them this message. They said never, USPS doesn't send messages. They always send a paper letter if something happened with your delivery. So, always check such messages and never trust the texts that come to your phone. Friends, these are 5 incidents that happened to me over the past 5 years. Share what incidents have happened to you, and let's build houses together.